Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kaldheim draft here on the channel. Before I dive in, I do want to remind you that if you enjoy the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and click that bell so you get notified when I post future videos. If you would like to support my content directly, you can do so via the Patreon at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. Okie doke, so what do we have here? In this pack, the rare is completely unplayable. I'm always game to try out these the wackier rares to see how they do and perform, but this one just doesn't. It's just so absurdly narrow. You sack a creature, it has to have the same type, and then it has to have exactly +1, and it just never. And it's only sorcery speed. It's just unreasonably bad. I can't put that in my deck. In the uncommons, there's Icebind Pillar and Dwarven Hammer as very solid cards. Rune of Mortality is okay as well. And then in the commons, there is Behold the Multiverse, which is one of the better commons in the set. Okay, this is kind of a tough pick. I think Icebind Pillar, I think I'd rather start with the Behold, just because I don't love having to prioritize Snowlands as highly if this is my only snow payoff, though it is quite good. And then Dwarven Hammer is also really good as well. I think the hammer is probably the best one in the pack. It just goes really well in any red deck. You don't have to be particularly aggressive. It just kind of carries its own weight here. Following up the Dwarven Hammer, we can take a Spella. Spella is not like perfect synergy with the Dwarven Hammer. Spella is more of a multicolored snow card. Cole the Forge Master has decent synergy with the hammer though. But I don't... And red-white is a good color combination. It's just... Cole sometimes wheels, you can get it later. It's not necessarily the most rawly powerful on its own. You kind of need some good equipments to go with it, though. It's not that hard to find those. In the commons, there is a Augury Raven, which is pretty reasonable, but I think decently worse than the Spella and Cole. I will say Bredegard Stronghold's also quite nice. And then there's also a Run Amok, a Struggle for Skemfar. Overall, a very powerful pack. Thinking of what goes best with the Dwarven Hammer, I'd have to say the Cole, but I'm early enough in the draft that I don't really want to just commit to playing red-white. I think Spell is probably better than Cole on average. This is close. I think Svella is defensible. Cole is also defensible. We'll see where we end up. Max rewarded with an Arnie Slays the Troll. Sometimes things are just working out for you. Spelled mostly goes better in a controlling deck, but with Arnie Slays the Troll, you're looking for cards like Craven Hulk. We already have Dwarven Hammer, which incentivizes aggression. Arnie Slays the Troll works really well with those sorts of things as well. Works well with Grizzled Outrider. Craven Hulk, so a couple cards that we're also seeing. Dwarven Reinforcements works well with Dwarven Hammer. Overall, I think there's a pretty clear Arnie Slays the Troll, and we just kind of move into red-green. Even if red-green later is not the most open, we can... just shift to a red deck or just any deck. It's only pick 3 after all, but I think Arnie Slays the Troll is a decent amount better than Craven Hulk, even though they do work quite well together. Because this doesn't give you a stats boost, so you just have to have like some relatively beefy creatures. After that, I think I would take the Craven Hulk. The rest of this pack is a little bit weaker. And then maybe Dwarven Reinforcements. Just because I don't want to go into a second color, I'd rather just stick with red. So I don't want to take Grizzled Outrider super early here. But we're in red-green at the moment. And we see some decent options. There is Squash, which goes well with any Craven Hulks that we get, any Changelings that we get, which red-green does have a few Changelings that you're pretty happy playing, so Squash is a decent card in those decks. There is an Icehide Troll, which goes well with Spella, but not really good with the other cards necessarily. It does go decently with the Arnie Slays the Troll, because a 2/3 can take out 2/2s and stuff like that, and it does work well with the Indestructible ability. And then there's a Run Amok for if I was a very aggressive version of red-green. I think I'm more of like a mid-rangey, play big creatures type version, but I still would like Run Amoks. Immersturm Raider is a distant last here out of those considerations, just because, sure, it's red, but it's also like just a 2/1, which I don't love. I think I'm going to take the Squash here. I just like getting a couple of removal spells early. Arnie is good, and Squash is good, even if you have to pay 5 mana for it every once in a while, or most of the time. Okay, moving on to the next pack. We see a Bergstrider, pretty reasonably late Bergstrider, I might add. This card's quite good. A lot of people have it as like the second best blue common after Behold. Red red-blue Giants is a pretty good deck, and getting a late Bergstrider is a signal point for that type of deck, maybe. There's also a Mistwalker, which is also a great blue common, and there's another Squash. Squash doesn't commit me to a second color. It's also one of the top red commons, I'd have to say. So it's like take a good red common for my deck, or take a Bergstrider in a second color. And Bergstrider decks are generally going to like Squash as well, so even though we're seeing a couple of blue cards here, we do have a couple of pulls into red-green. So we're just going to keep taking the red card. We will be aware that potentially blue is open with those relatively late Berg and Mistwalker pickups. Now things start to get a little bit more interesting. This pick between Tascari Firewalker and the Shimmerdrift Veil. I do like the Firewalker. It doesn't work particularly well with Arnie Slays the Troll, but it is just a great red card, and I am looking like I'm just going to be a red deck base here. But Shimmerdrift Veil is particularly nice because with Svella, I can then play Shimmerdrift Veil and Svella and already have the basis to splash a little bit, and my deck might be a little bit more mid-rangey. So I think I'm going to take the Shimmerdrift Veil, even though I do like the Firewalker a good amount. There's a couple of blue cards here. There's a Snow Mountain, but I'm just going to take the Veil. I think it helps me fully utilize one of my better cards, which is Svella, and I already have some good removal for if I'm going to the late game, so splashing blue for card draw or some Giants might be something I want to do. Okay, and now there is Fearless Liberator, which is a good card, don't get me wrong. Works very well with the Dwarven Hammer. It also does require a little bit of... I mean, it's... Making a 2-1 on turn 3 isn't the best, so you want to have some equipments to work and suit up that 2-1. We're seeing a couple white cards. Axe Guard and Goldmar are both solid. Late Bergstrider, I must say. Does work well with the squashes that I have. But I know that I'm playing red. I'm not necessarily committed to any second color. I like the Bergstrider, but I'm just going to take the Fearless Liberator here, stick to red here, and just recognize that blue might be a good color to move into if I'm in a debate on my second color later on. Here we can get Path to the World Tree. If we are a more mid-rangey deck, this is going to be pretty solid. Taking it over Axe Guard Cavalry, I think, is probably correct. We already have a Shimmerdrift Veil, which can make other colors. We could just get a couple of random dual lands that help us with the colors, and then Svella can help us. And so this is a fine speculative pick. We're not guaranteed to play it or anything. Axe Guard is pretty much probably going to make our deck guaranteed. So this is a pretty close one. But if we end up with a deck that can support Path to the World Tree, it's going to be one of our better cards. So we're going to speculate on it. Okay, we wield the Pyre of Heroes. Not a surprise there. Raven Wings is sometimes playable. We're not going to want to play Raise the Dragger. I think I'm just going to take Broken Wings. Sometimes your more mid-rangey decks want access to this. I already have one equipment with the Dwarven Hammer. Maybe Raven's Wings is good enough because I have the Liberator. So maybe I would rather prioritize the Raven's Wings. Okay, now there's a Snow Mountain over Dwarven Reinforcements. I do like Dwarven Reinforcements, especially with equipments. But Snow Mountain's nice, because then if I get a couple of snow lands, I can maybe do some cool stuff later. So we're just going to take the Mountain. And then we get a Dwarven Reinforcements anyway. I would like Grizzled Outrider in this deck, because it is good with the Arnie Slays the Troll, but I would rather just get a cheaper card here. Icehide Troll does go well with the Snow-Covered Mountain that I have, but there's also Run Amok. I think Troll has much higher upside, and I'm a more mid-rangey snow deck potentially, so I'm just going to take the Icehide Troll. And then I guess I'll just take the Uncommon Land. Probably not playing any of those cards. Giant, not really great. And 2 Giants, the last pick. Okay. Well, I'm glad that we've taken this more mid-rangey approach, because that gives us the flexibility. The Shimmerdrift Veil and the Svella give us the flexibility to take something like Immersturm Predator. I hope we can get a Sulphurous Mire at some point, because that'll also help us splash it. We could also just move off of green, though that's a little bit less likely at this point. But I do like the Immersturm Predator. It's a very good card, very hard to beat when it comes into play. And by taking these cards, like the Svella, the Shimmerdrift Veil, we've given ourselves flexibility to splash a little bit more than we would have. Sulphurous Mire probably not going to wheel. Notvolt Slumberbound might wheel, though, if nobody else is playing red-green. There's a Ravenous Lindworm, so there's some decent stuff we could potentially wheel. I doubt any of them will. But we could wheel the Mire. These are the 3 cards we're hoping to wheel one of those. A pretty nice pickup on the Predator. We would like some Changelings to help these squashes out a little bit. Here, there's a Sculptor of Winter that can help us ramp into some of our cards. There's another Eyeside Troll, but the last one wheeled. We already have one, so we're not going to prioritize the next one, really. There's an Axguard Cavalry, but I think that Sculptor is just better. And I think we're pretty settled into red-green, though I guess Axguard could be a consideration. The fact that we're splashing a very good card makes me more likely to want a Sculptor because it's more of a mid-rangey card than the very aggressive Axguard Cavalry. Having a Sculptor also makes the Eyeside Troll better because then we only need one Snowland to hold up the activation. Green was not wildly open pack 1. It was mostly just like seeing good red-green cards. So maybe I would rather just take the red card that I'm guaranteed to be able to play. I'm just going to take the Axguard Cavalry. I'm not like guaranteed to play in these other cards. And I'm not going to have that many Snowlands, I don't think. And Axguard Cavalry giving haste can be quite relevant. Especially if I later move off of green. The only green cards that I really have are these gold ones. And then this card that I might not be able to play. So I could easily move it to like a black-red deck. I think Maskwood Nexus is a little bit too slow to be great. Even though it makes Changelings, which is good with the squashes. There's also in this pack a Volatile Fjord, which is great with Path of the World Tree. And if I wanted to potentially splash another color. There's also just Masked Vandal, which is a great card. I'm going to take the Fjord. It makes it better for playing Path, and I could potentially just end up playing red, blue, splashing black or something. There's a lot of good cards in that pack, though. Now there's a Mistwalker versus Hagi Mob in Snow-Covered Island. Yeah, Mistwalker is really good. I could see playing like a Grixis type deck. The rest of the cards are not great, so I'm fine speculating on Mistwalker over Hagi Mob. And now we see Giant's Amulet. So it is looking like blue-red Giants is going to be a good spot for us, especially in Pack 3. If it's this open Pack 2, I have to imagine it's going to be even more open Pack 3 because the person passing to us clearly wasn't taking those Berg Striders and stuff. And Giant's Amulet's a pretty nice defensive tool. Kiddoke. And then we can take Augury Raven. Again, we're not seeing any red cards here, but we do have a nice secondary color here, and we can splash this Immersturm Predator potentially. We have this Shimmerdrift Veil that helps with that. Okay, there's another Squash. We already have 2 of those. Would we rather have an Inga here? Inga works decently well with Squash. The Scrying can be helpful. There's also a black-white land, which not great for our purposes because we want our lands to be like one of our base colors at the very least. We could also just, I don't think we're really a Firewalker deck. I think we want Inga probably. The Scry 3 can be pretty helpful. We already have 2 Squashes that are like pretty medium. And Inga's nice for scrying purposes. And now we just get a Snow Mountain. I don't love Invasion of the Giants, especially because we don't really have Giants in the deck. And the card's just very slow. We could, I guess, play a Cinderheart Giant, but I don't love that card even with the Invasion. And the Snow-Covered Mountain is still useful for getting our higher snow count. Wow, Sulphurous Mire came back. I would love the Notvold Slumber Mound if I was committing to that red-green deck, but as I was saying, green did not look particularly open pack 1. There's like niche green card, red-green specifically, red-green specifically, that we second picked. Late Eyeside Troll, which is niche, so we didn't really see any like generically good green cards, so Grixis might be a much better place for us to end up. And there's a Priest here. There's also a late Sculptor of Winter. There's also the Yara Kinseekers, but that's another 4-drop. We already have a few of those. Priest could be decent interaction, like Grixis Snow. Now there's a Seize the Spoils. I like this in the deck because it gives me a way to make my splash color in my red-blue deck. I don't love the Invader or the Raider as much. Hagi Mob, okay. Sure, we'll take Raise the Dragger. Okay, so where are we at now? We are in a weird spot in this draft. And then we opened up a green-blue card that is very powerful. And there's no, like, obviously good just monocolored blue card or monocolored red card. I think we just want the Shimmer to fail, though. I think we're moving off of green, which is kind of wild to say with all these good green cards. Or these decent green cards. Because I think blue-red was just the most open. Pack 1. This card's nice, but splashing another color is just very tough to justify. And we're just going to play it like this right now. And take the Shimmer to fail. A very defensible pick. This card is very good, but it's only really at its best on turn 3 exactly. Or like close to that. Oh, baby. Ice Tunnel now. Real nice addition to the deck. Helps me like justify maybe splashing this Priest. If I can get another Shapeshifter, I can maybe play this Raise the Draugr. But Ice Tunnel's real nice. Also Feed the Serpent, but we're not going to try and splash a double card. So we have 7 Snowlands here. We're in an interesting spot for sure. Wowza. Look at that. Cyclone Summoner. There's also Behold the Multiverse, though. This entire pack is stacked for us. This is the sort of thing that I was hoping for. I was just hoping it to be more spread out. Cyclone Summoner is really nice. It doesn't work as well with my particular cards, maybe. It's just a powerful effect as a 5-drop. I love Behold. Maybe I just take Behold over a clunky 7-drop. I've had some good experience with this card, but I've also had some bad ones, and it's very expensive. I'm just going to take the Behold. I think I can probably win with like my Immersturm Predator. And I don't have that many Giants. Now there's a Snow Swamp. There's another Priest of the Haunted Edge. I already have 1 Priest. I guess I could take a 2nd Priest. Grixis Snow. I've heard LSV talking about this sort of deck where you just kind of play the Grixis Snow cards that you get. It seems pretty interesting at the very least. We're not really a Raven's Wings deck. I think we just want to keep getting playables. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Snowlands. Maybe I can wheel the Priest and just take this 1 Swamp. We'll try it. Carter Doomscourge, eh? That's a nice one. Pretty nice for defensive or aggressive decks. Joke. And now there is an Augury Raven, a Trickster God's Heist. Trickster God's Heist is not great in my deck, I must say. Unless somebody's changing like the treasure. Or like a token. I'll probably just take Augury Raven here. It's a card I can cast early, release relatively early. I could take Seize the Spoils, and then maybe use that to splash Speller or something. Or I could just take Immersturm Raider. I'm going to take Seize, I think. Just makes the mana a little bit better. I think I'd rather have Immersturm than Disdainful Stroke. My deck is very heavy red. And it's nice to have. I guess I have a lot of ways to discard things already. And I have some like ways to hold up mana. Guess Stroke is fine. How many creatures do I have? 10. I probably just want another creature then. I guess Amulet counts as a creature in some ways. 1 Run Ashore could be fine. I don't think I want Dwarven Reinforcements that much, so 1 Run Ashore it is. Frostpeak Yeti. Technically playable. Ooh, the Frostpire came back. That's a great addition. Haggai Mob. Dewdrop. Raven form is somewhat playable, I guess. We really don't need the Pilfering Hawk with this double Seize the Spoils deck. Overall, a really interesting build process on that one. We kind of moved off of the red-green stuff. Raise the Draugr. How many creature types do we have in common here? 7 Berserkers, 3 Dwarves, only 1 Changeling to tie it all together. So do I want the Raise the Draugr? I can probably cut Raven form because I have 2 Squashes and a Priest. And do I have any other removal? Not really. I have some flyers. I have 3 flyers that can maybe make the 1/1 not great. I could play that, I guess. Axguard Cavalry is not the greatest in this deck. Dwarven Reinforcements certainly not at home here. I could see playing 18 lands because I do have so many ways to discard extra lands and a pretty expensive curve and some card draw and scrying. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 13, 17. Somewhere around 18 lands in this deck, I think. And maybe play 1 Cinderheart Giant over Axguard Cavalry, maybe. This is a 5-drop 2. These are kind of like 2-drops that I'm going to be playing early a lot of the time, I think. We're splashing 2 black cards, 3 black cards with this priest. Frostpeak Yeti's okay. I kind of want to try the giant. I don't think it's great, though. Sometimes you just need some top end. So, what are our colored sources looking like? 12 red. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red. For blue, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9, 8. And then for black, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 9, 8, 7. We definitely don't need this many swamps. We can probably cut both of the swamps, actually. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potentially swamps, plus the 2 Seas Despoils, and we only have 3 black cards. And that gives us room to add an extra mountain, for sure. Maybe an extra island as well, and then maybe add 1 extra mountain. So now for our 12, 9, 3 deck, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 red sources, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blue sources. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other sources there. Seems pretty reasonable to me. I'm excited to try this deck out. Let's change the artwork to the Predator. Predator's pretty nice. We ended up with 13 creatures, but this is also a creature, so 14 creatures, 15 creatures, so we're in a decent spot there. And I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'll see you folks in the matches. Before I get to the matches, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the patrons who support me and my content over at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. Special thanks to those at the credits level and to all of the new patrons who helped me reach the microphone funding goal. It is thanks to the support of patrons that I am able to steadily improve the quality of my videos and produce as much content as I do. Even just $1 a month goes a long way, and there are a host of cool rewards that you gain access to by becoming a patron. If my content has provided you with some value, please consider supporting my work on Patreon. It really makes a big difference. Without further ado though, let's get to the matches. Welcome to round 1. Very keepable hand here. Turn 1 Battlefield Raptor, not what you love to see. But I have Mistwalker into Squash, into Carter maybe. Okay, that untapped land is actually quite nice. Because now I can play this card into Mistwalker. I think I'm going to play this tapped, because then I can play Mistwalker, and then on the next turn I can play Liberator plus Squash, or I can just play Carter. I like giving myself the option there, because then they'd have to Suicide in the Gladewalker and their other card. Starnheim, sure. This is where interaction would not go down well for me. So now we get a nice little opportunity here. We can go Fearless Liberator, hold up Squash, and now whatever they have, we get to squash something. I think we took an extra 2 damage there for playing around a combat trick, but there's like +4/+4 that would really wreck us. I guess there's not a ton else, but now we're in okay shape here. We're defensive, setting up for this Carter next turn, potentially be devastating. So we blow them out there. Okay, so they do not have something there. Another one. Okay, so I think we can now seize the spoils, discarding Hagi, discarding the Dwarven Hammer, maybe. Hagi Mob can clean up this 1/1. I guess this Carter does too. Let's just keep the Dwarven Hammer then. But now we can still hold up Squash, or we can draw lands, which would be really nice. Beautiful. So now we can block again, or we can blow them out with our Squash, hopefully. Sure. I'm just gonna keep playing conservatively. So we can block here, pump, and then also use Squash if they have something. That's pretty good for me. So I can use this to kill that. What is this card? It's not a fight spell. Maybe it is the fight spell. No attacks. I'm not going to attack here because I don't want them to get wrecked by the deal 5. And if they have another flyer, then I'm in trouble a little bit. Because it could easily just be deal 5. Okay. If they have +1/+3, I lose my stuff either way. I know I have a lot of discard stuff, but I kind of want this land. I should have played the land if I was gonna want to do that. So they did have the deal 5. Well, now I could go 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I should have played this land before. Because then I can go this plus equip this to that. 4 in Klex. Oh dear. Hmm. I like attacking there, because then it puts them on a dangerous spot, so they might have to attack with their Vorinclex this turn. There we go. Ooh, that's a nice draw. So we can then attack with Hagi Mob. We can also equip this thing to the flyer. I'm just going to equip the Hagi Mob. This is just... This is 9. 10. No, we can't kill them. Let's just go there. Yes. Got the win. I think the biggest player that I messed up was I maybe not blocking their 2/2 flyer that one turn, because I just kind of zoned on the fact that it was a free attack for them because they were going to get through 2 damage no matter what, and the only combat trick I was playing around was Mammoth Growth, which they're not very likely to have. But that worked out pretty nicely, I'd say. Okay, so we don't have red mana. We're on the draw, though, and we have 11 red sources in the deck, so I think we keep this. Especially because we can get this Augury Raven down, and we have 2 of our colors. If we didn't have 11 red sources, I don't think I'd keep it, but 11 is a lot of sources. And we have something to do on like turns 2 and 3, so... Okay, doke. If I draw a red source this turn that's untapped, I can then just jam this Carter, and they have to suicide both their 2/1s in. Which could be real good for the home team. Oh, yes. Come on, little Berserker. Little Berserker, come on. Come on. Wow. Lots of colors. Oh, well, at least we have Squash to kill the Chariot. Oh, they done messed up. They could have crewed the Chariot so they wouldn't have to attack with these guys. That's a pretty major blunder, gotta be said. Chariot actually would have been pretty bad for me if they had just done that crewing. So they can suicide in their Chariot. They'll get an extra 2/2, but I get to develop my board. Ah! Well, that worked out. Okay, so now we can seize the spoils away this Cinderheart Giant that we're not going to be able to cast forever. Or we could get rid of the Fearless Liberator. That's also not going to be cast forever. I like that a little bit better. That's nice. What do we want to discard with this one? Probably nothing right now. We'll want to wait for them to attack with this thing before we kill it with Squash. Because that way it's gonna drain them. Classic Carter strats. Okie doke. Well, this could be a golden opportunity to kill the troll. It's a pretty tough one to handle when it's got the trample on it. And then we can play Immersturm next turn. Yikers. Keep the drains going. Next turn they're dead. They're Dobbs. Never mind, I don't know how to count. I don't have enough blue mana to pump this 3 times. Not even gonna pump it. Because this way I get to play this guy. I wonder how it works. Is something still an attacker after the damage step? Because if it is, then I could have played Immersturm Predator and then after combat sacrificed both of them to deal an extra 2 damage. I don't know how that rules interaction works. I do know that there's like shenanigans you can do with that. Like stuff still counts as an attacker. I think it might work. We'll keep an eye out for that. Basically, the idea is that you attack with it and then you sack it to Carter to drain them after you've done damage already. I think that works. But it's on like the damage step or something. Well, this is just a fairly keep run-of-the-mill keepable hand. We're on the play, which makes it a lot more tenable. We don't have our splash color. We don't have an early play, but we're on the play, so it makes it a little bit easier to keep these sorts of things. This is my first time potentially casting a Frostpeak Yeti. Can't say I'm too thrilled. I don't think it's like a stellar card or anything. Card or anything. Oh, got him. Ah, criminy. We're so dead. We're so dead. Magda's unbeatable. This card is one of the most, like, unassuming yet bonkers cards. I think I just need a land. And I don't think I have time for these things. Which order did I put those in? Should have definitely put the Dwarven Hammer on top. If I do get to that point, oh my gosh. We're so dead. This is one of those games where you suck it up and squash a Magda. Potentially. It's also one of those games where you play Hagi Mob and pray. We are praying to the Hagi Mob. Can you imagine if this worked? If they just don't have a way to remove it or buff their creatures in combat? And we just get to snipe Magda next turn. Oh, satisfaction. Pain. I don't think we can afford to take 6. Because that is half of our life total at the moment. Yes. No, they have a frostbite. I'm enraged. Oh. So close. We needed to draw an untapped land there so we could jam Frostpeak Yeti too. Currently, we're just toast. We're still alive. But not for long. Actually, we're alive for another turn here. Get wrecked, matey. I wonder if they could have killed me if they just played this first and given it haste. Top or bottom? Into its owner's library, Carter. Turn to its owner's hand, Magda. So I go to 2. Yikes. This is a yikes. I had to discard my squash. Aye, not great. Oh, they shuffled their Carter in. We're back in it. We're in it to win it. Not really. Yeah, we're so dead. We fought hard though. There you have Magda. Magda makes the game very difficult. Even on the draw, it's such a tough one to beat. Just gives them so much mana, buffs their creature. Give us like extra 5 damage or so. Whew. waiting to get matched up here. Yeah, Magda's one of those cards that looks unassuming, but is just very, very good. It's just like getting an extra mana is really nice. And it's good with the Axe Guard Cavalry too, because you can just tap it to give Magda haste over and over to generate a mana. So it like turns it into a mana dork. So it just says tapped, which is kind of cute. The synergy. And then if you have an artifact like a Dwarven Hammer to get, that's like the dream. Obviously getting a changeling can count as a dragon, so you can get changelings out of your deck too. So Magda's got a lot of synergies. I wonder where our opponents are. Marina's just looking for someone that is a freebie to give me so that I can get a win. Because it respects the process. It respects the hustle. I wonder how long the longest queue timer is for Arena. I'm just looking for things to say to fill the time. I know that as soon as I like think, oh, I'll just edit out the time, it'll just find me a match. Yeah, exactly. I was like, whoa. I heard the sound effect of my opponent conceding. Oh. I guess that's something that can happen. Huh. Well, that's a fun bit of programming. Huh. Was that a full game? I forget what my record was before that. I beat that one deck. I think, no, I was 2-1. I was 2-1. It didn't count for anything. Ooh, Reshi. That's one of the, like, islands in, the Sanderson novels. We'll keep this. It's, where Lift is from, I think. Yeah, I'm, reading the newer one right now. Foretell. These squashes are not as good in my deck as they might have been. As they might have been. I have a couple I have like one changeling and one giant or something. Or 2 giants. Okay, opponent. Hit me with your best shot. I'm ready. Oh, no. Herald. The King of Skemvar. I don't really have any cards I want to get rid of right now. So I'm just going to keep developing. I'm going to play this Skemvar. Synergy, baby. Okay. If I do this, then I might have to do something else. I could play Carter and then just eat the Glade Walker. I like that plan, I think. And then next turn I can wait till combat and then kill Herald mid-combat. Gain another drain on him. The Augury Raven is just providing a lot of pressure. Obviously, a Feed the Serpent is not great for me here. Fight spell would be bad. Oh, okay. Oh. Well then. I'll still trade because I don't want to take 9. So I'm going to kill the Herald. Take 4. This is a very close one right now. This thing's going to do so much work against me. Especially when combined with the Elder Hall. Oh, the pain. It's gonna lead with this. Don't really want those. That answers this quite nicely. But I'm still super screwed. Ugh. Drawing both of my squashes in my opening hand is really bad. Because it's just very clunky without me like having the setup to get my Mistwalker or my Giant Amulet into play. It was also unfortunate that they had two different buff spells to make their creature a 3/3 to trade with Carter. So I'm at 1. Yes. Yeah, I'm just dead. This thing just too good. Things didn't line up particularly well there. They can just Elder Hall. They can just attack me. I don't have anything I could have. They could also Elder Hold me and then attack me, which just even takes away like the out of the -2/-0 guy. I kind of want to just take over a game with Immersturm Predator one of these times. Now this is a good hand. We got... I guess the Seize Despoils are just like pretty clunky, but they're kind of nice for helping us splash. Okay, since I'm probably going to play Mistwalker on turn 3, I think I'm going to Behold here. Because then I can like Behold into more lands so that I can then foretell that later. So in red-white, that's oftentimes the Dwarven card. So this card lines up well against those. As does Augury Raven. Or it's just the classic Demon Bolt. Oh, I'm blocking. I'm ready. Okay. Well, this is why we foretold this one. So we don't want the Raider. We just want lands. No attacks. See, now Squash is great because we have a Mistwalker. This card's pretty useless right now because we have no snowlands. Okay, so we can double block this thing. This could be a Demon Bolt still. Or we could just single block Arnie. Ooh. So this would turn Demon Bolt into a 2-for-1. They haven't really had a chance to cast it. They're not attacking with Arnie. I'm just going to take this, I think. Cowardly. I just have Giant Amulet that can just block it pretty safely next turn. Okay, it is Dwarven Reinforcements. Good attack by them. I guess the universe has decided. I can't play Carter for a while, but this card is great. Well, that's kind of a problem. That's a yikes. Sure. They could have some Demon Bolt action here. Hmm. Ugh. This is a problem. Playing into squash is probably not the best. I don't just want to take. I don't just want to take damage forever. Is the thing. Wow. 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm not technically dead. I just have to sack it, though. Oh my gosh. Shackles is just devastating. Yeah, I'm dead. Wow. Shackles just owned me so hard. Is there anything I could do? No, I'm just dead. Oh, gosh. Maybe casting Immersturm was premature. Maybe. Maybe I was just supposed to cast Giant's Amulet. Because that sets up better triple blocks and stuff. There's definitely things I could have done differently that game. I just kind of, when I have a rare that I haven't gotten to play with, I like to just cast it and see how it feels. That was not a great feel, but that was partly because they had a couple of, like, they were on the front foot. It's much better when you're on the front foot with Immersturm, I guess. But, yeah, that was a tough one. The deck was mediocre. I don't know. Anytime you have to put Frostpeak Yeti into your deck, it's not great. I think we needed a couple of Frostbites, because Frostbite would have actually been really good in this deck with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Snowlands. But we just didn't see that, so we had Squash instead, and Squash just didn't cut it when we only had 3 Giants. This one was not great. Probably would have been better to play that as a 2-drop. I just wanted to see how it felt, and it definitely felt worse than a 2-drop would have been, as just defensive body so that I could win later. Carter did not feel... It was okay in a couple of our games, but did not feel exceptional, which has kind of been my experience with the card, but I've seen it do some good stuff, so I wanted to give it another shot. I don't know if it's worth splashing, though, because for 3 toughness, it just doesn't block particularly well. And then, what else? I think our deck ended up okay. I think moving away from green probably led to a more powerful deck, but we did have some decent green stuff, so maybe that was incorrect. I just think blue and red were the most open colors by a lot. Like, we ended up with a lot of blue cards, and we didn't really take any of them pack 1, even when it seemed like it was pretty open. So, yeah, the couple red cards. Maybe we were supposed to splash. I think splashing Immersturm was correct, but maybe we were also supposed to splash green for a couple cards. Just seems a little bit ambitious at that point. But hard to say. Deck did not perform great, but that's probably just because the removal was clunky. We just oftentimes had too much random stuff in our hand and couldn't cast our spells very effectively. So that's just let that be a lesson to y'all. Let that be a lesson to you. I don't really say y'all, I've noticed. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment with your questions and feedback. Also, check out the Patreon if you want to support my content directly. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, in the comment section down below, leave hashtag shackled, because that Shackles of Treachery was one of the most brutal ones I've ever faced. Just stealing the Dwarven Hammer token is like the best possible use for Shackles. And also our mana kept us shackled to the ground here. I think that last game could have been winnable if instead of playing the Immersturm Predator, I had just cast Giant's Amulet that turn. That would have been really nice as a stabilization tool, but then they just take to the skies anyway with their 5/5, so it's a problem. It's a tough one to win, I think. But certainly lots of choices to be made. But yeah, that's going to do it for this draft video. You can find more of my content on Twitch, twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas. You can find my articles and the Discord server linked below. And then if you want to support my content and you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to my Twitch channel for free, included with Amazon Prime. So at no extra cost to you, you're supporting my content. You just link the two accounts, and then it's really easy to subscribe from there. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Not the best record, but definitely a good learning experience. And I got to test out some of these cards that I haven't played with as much. Immersturm Predator, not that much experience playing with that. I only got to play it once, I think. Carter, played it a couple times. But yeah, overall, pretty medium deck, did medium, and that's kind of what happens sometimes. That's going to do it, though. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time.